Hello and welcome to the first episode of the Joinery Business Podcast for 2025. On this episode, Bruce is going over what we're looking to change and what to look forward to this year at the Joinery Coach and the Joinery Business Podcast. We've got a lot of really fantastic plans this year, and we're looking to really shake things up. We're hoping you'll join us for the ride and see what we have in store. If you have any questions about today's episode, jump over to the Joinery Business Hub on Facebook. The Joinery Business Podcast is sponsored by MaxCut Software. MaxCut is a small software business focusing on the cabinetry industry. Their main purpose and goal is to empower cabinet makers to estimate, cut, and complete cutless jobs more efficiently and easily without breaking the bank. Visit the MaxCut Software website linked in our description to try the free community edition of MaxCut Software to see what MaxCut can do for you. Now, without further ado, let's jump into today's episode.
Hey there, welcome to the Joinery Business Podcast and welcome to 2025. Hopefully you've had an amazing break over Christmas and ready to kick off the year with some new results in business and have the best year you've ever had. So this is a little bit of a different year for us. In past years, in fact, this is our 6th year going into the podcast now, and we've learned quite a lot about podcasting and business in general. This year is going to be a very different year for us on the Joinery Business Podcast. I'll explain that in a few minutes. And the other thing that I've had is a number of people contacting me from the podcast asking me a little bit more about the Joinery Coach. So I thought what I'd do is I'd kick off this podcast talking a little bit about the Joinery Coach because it is the foundational element that we bring to the podcast. It's the foundational place that we get a lot of our guidance and the stuff that we bring to the podcast for you. And it seems to me that that would be a good place to start so that you know that where our advice and our podcast content is coming from comes from a very good place. There's nothing that we bring to this podcast that is in beta testing. Everything that we talk about here has already been tried and trued and tested with our coaching clients already. And if there's anything that's controversial about anything there, we'd probably tell you about that. But in essence, everything that we're talking about here in the podcast, we've already proven to work with our coaching clients. So a little bit about the Joinery Coach from, again, some of you that have asked a little bit more information. The Joinery Coach is a business coaching business where we only work with cabinet making, joinery businesses, furniture, windows, doors, millwork, commercial, fit out, those sorts of businesses. So if you are that type of business or you're in the industry, you're in the right place, you're in the right podcast. As I say, at the Joinery Coach, we are planning a new and different approach this year as well. The thing that we've learned over the many years of coaching clients to success in this industry is that many of the other traditional approaches out in the industry really don't work that well. And we put up our hand and we say, we've kind of followed some of those old traditional approaches ourselves as well. So for example, lean manufacturing has been around for a long time. You'll see a lot of people out in the industry talking about lean manufacturing and talking about its benefits. And of course, it's a wonderful theory. It's a great theory. And when put into practice properly, it works great. Facts are facts, though, in our industry. This approach that's been around since the days of Henry Ford just simply has not transformed our industry. So we've got to just sort of stop and say, okay, why is that? Most lean manufacturing experts that you'll talk to will say the vast majority of lean implementations actually fail. So we have to wonder why that is. We've done a little bit of research and we feel that it's just the approach. And we're trying to bring something from another industry, even another country, into an industry that really does things differently. So at the Joinery Coach, we are having a very different transformational year as well. We have made our own manufacturing program called the Joinery Manufacturing Excellence Program, and it is based on what actually works in our industry using the language that we use and nothing else. There's going to be no Japanese terms. There's going to be no outside influences. It is just what actually works in this industry put into a very straightforward, easy to follow method that will get you to success without any shadow of a doubt. that's the approach from the Joinery Coach this year. Very, very different approach. And one of the reasons why we can have this level of success is simply because we've got a team of amazing specialists. So the Joinery Coach is in an industry where there's lots of business coaches out there. It's probably one of those industries that is so oversaturated, it's really, really interesting to follow. It seems like everybody and their dog right now is a business coach. But there are very few specialty business coaches. Everybody seems to want to be a generalist. At the Joinery Coach, we've got a very different approach. We don't hire generalists. We always hire specialists. So our whole team of coaches, what you'll notice is they're all individual people who have a very unique skill set that has a very unique way of helping a business move forward in that specific area of their business. Most other businesses that are coaching businesses you'll find will be generalists that'll try and move you through all the places. That's probably the first point of difference. The second point of difference is, from what I've seen in the industry anyway, out there in the world, we are the only business coaching offer that offers you everything that your business needs, including the manufacturing efficiency gains. So the Joinery Coach offers guidance to help you grow your business, right from finance to sales to marketing, right to team building and leadership and communication, right through manufacturing efficiencies, installation, the whole lot of everything your business does. We cover all bases. And for most other offers you'll see out there, it's either one or the other. You're going to get business approach or you're going to get the factory approach. Both of them are great on their own, but if one fails, the other one doesn't succeed either. So we know that for us to be successful with clients at the Joinery Coach, we have to cover all bases of that business so that there is a guaranteed level of success. So check us out. We have an amazing YouTube channel. So if you want to learn a little bit more about the Joinery Coach, we tend to want to show you rather than tell you. So our YouTube channel is very, very active. Jump into our YouTube channel and have a look if you have any more questions. Hopefully that's given you a little bit of an insight as to what happens over at the Joinery Coach to help you be a little bit more confident in what's happening here in the podcast is founded in true reality of what works in a business just like yours. Okay, on to the podcast. So we're really here to talk about the podcast. I get really excited when I'm talking about the podcast because I love running this podcast channel, and when we bring people on the show, it really does light me up. I love doing this. Our podcast in 2025 is also going to be very different. Our approach over the last 5 years has been very, very successful, and we're very thankful for that. We're thankful for everybody that's listened and given us feedback and supported us and joined and subscribed our channel. But we also know that we can do more, and we can do just a little bit better, if not a lot better. So in 2025, we have committed to making some very significant changes here on the podcast. Those changes are going to be things like more industry guests are going to be invited onto the podcast to give you way more value. You know, if you can hear from some of the industry suppliers, they might be a software supplier, they might be an industry supplier of some kind, but if you can get some insights into their world, it just really does give you a ton of value back when listening to the podcast. The other thing that we're doing is we're really building our YouTube channel that includes our podcast. So podcasts are great. You know, when podcasts first started, it was audio. It was someone listening to a podcast. But in actual fact, the video part of the podcast is a really high value part of what we do. So if you're listening to this podcast right now on audio, of course, that's great, but you get a lot more value if you can actually see what we're doing in the video. So our YouTube channel is going to grow exponentially. Again, I really would invite you, if you're listening to this right now and you haven't yet jumped onto our YouTube channel, please jump into our YouTube channel and subscribe, because you'll get notifications of our new shows coming out. And if you're really, really interested, you'll even be able to watch me on our YouTube channel transform my home wood shop here in the barn into a fully functioning cabinet making wood shop. I've finally got the space that I've wanted to have for so many years, where I can finally set up my proper wood shop. And right now I'm taking everybody through that step by step. It's a very small little home-based workshop, but it is going to be very functional, and we'll be building a lot of things in it. And it can apply to larger businesses doing the same thing. The other thing we're going to do on the podcast this year is we're going to invite much more of our GPS clients, the people that work in our Joinery Coach program, that are actually transforming their business from maybe a position where it might have been struggling a little bit into a highly successful, thriving entity. And we know that there's an enormous amount of value in doing that, because we hear firsthand how somebody took their business from where they were to where they want to be. And that's probably what you want to do right now. So if you can hear how somebody did that and went through that journey firsthand, there is just a ton of value in that. And we've heard a lot of feedback from people that listen to the podcast telling us how valuable it was to hear some of those stories. So we're going to try and double or triple those types of podcasts this year, because again, we've heard feedback from everybody saying they'd really love to hear more of those sorts of things. The last thing that we're going to do this year that's going to be very, very beneficial and high value for you is we're going to invite more of our coaches onto the show to talk about what's happening in their world. As I mentioned earlier, at the Joinery Coach, we've got a team of specialists. So we can get very, very niche, very specific, pinpoint focused on some very, very clear things that if you were to do them, it would move your business forward in specific areas. Nigel and Aaron, for example, work in the efficiency space and how to get your efficiencies up in your joinery manufacturing side of things. So the culture of improvement, how to get your team on board and how to actually do it. Huge value there for you. Tiffany and Claire, who are marketing and sales specialists, coming on board. And we might even be able to get Riley, who is our media production specialist, into a couple of podcasts again and talk a little bit about the tech and maybe what happens behind the scenes. Because we do see a lot of you guys out there putting content out in marketing. And of course, to do that, you need a camera, you need some sort of tech device to do things. And we can give you a little bit of help along the way for that as well. So that's a little bit about the podcast this year. Again, really super excited about what this year holds because we've got some really big plans this year for what we're going to do. Obviously, we're going to continue developing the barn and it's just a wonderful space to be in. And we'll show you that as that progresses as well. So in addition to all of that in 2025, we're also going to be holding more industry events and attending more industry events. Last year, we were really privileged to be keynote speaker and attend the Master Joiners Association in New Zealand. And we're really proud to say that we're partnering up with the Master Joiners this year as well to further help the New Zealand cabinet makers, not only them, but also everybody here in Australia. So we've got an amazing sort of array of events and speaking opportunities this year that we're going to bring to the podcast as well. Man, we've got so much going on this year. But as I said, we've got this amazing team of people, amazing team of coaches that are doing great work. And rather than me tell you about them anymore, here's what they are excited about in 2025.
I'm really looking forward to some client success stories. I'd really like to see us get some, have the clients get some really successful momentum moving forward. And then, get their feedback and some stories on it. Really like to move towards into that sales section and their finance section. I sort of quite like the finance side of things as well.
Yeah. So I'm really excited about systems thinking. So developing some content around systems thinking. And I don't mean like Monday, that's what we normally clients think when they talk about systems. I'm talking about, visual management system, quality system, production system. How do you create these systems within the business for the people to work around, and some good content around that. Also developing maybe one or two more simulations. So not necessarily about building cabinets. We've got that one and we can develop that to a new iteration. But maybe, because what I see a lot of problems with is the drafting, workflow. So creating a simulation that really helps the drafting team understand batching and one-piece flow and that whole concept. So, building cabinets is great, but, having something where they're constructing things in how they would go about actually doing that and giving them a simulation to work through. I think that's the next kind of breakthrough I'd like to see with our clients. I'd love to develop something for that.
I'm looking forward to growing our clientele, helping more joinery businesses, achieve success, particularly through micro-learning and creating dynamic content and dynamic programs in GPS Lite and our GPS Foundation, acceleration and excellence levels. I really do think that digestible content is sort of the way forward and the way to go. And we can see that our clients get, when they make small wins, they can see small wins that actually has the biggest impact on their business. In saying that, then we have to do things differently in the way that they digest the content and the way that they can implement that in their business as well. So I guess one thing that I'm also super proud of is that we're always continuously improving the way that we do things, and we're always taking on feedback from our current clients, and that has led us to that path. Personally, I think that I'm going to look forward to acquiring new skills to become a better coach for our clients, whether that be through doing a micro course or watching you guys do what you do best, and just observing, say, for example, Carol or Nigel or Bruce, Aaron, and taking on how you guys coach clients and seeing what I can weave into my own practice as well.
So for me, what I'm most looking forward to in 2025 is looking at the way that we deliver our program and the changes that we're making in terms of, the content that we're providing to GPS clients. We know that the work that we've been doing with clients has, been very successful, and we've seen some clients come through with some really great wins. But now we've got all this knowledge base that we've been building over the past, 10, however many years we've been doing this with TJC. Now we can take our learnings from not only feedback from clients, but things that we've observed, and just changing and tweaking things along the way to make sure that the program that we're delivering is the next level up for our clients, to make sure that they're generating the kind of results that they came to us for. So, I think 2025 is going to be a huge year of growth for TJC, not only for us like as a team, but for our clients as well, and the way that we're delivering, this GPS membership. From a personal perspective, I'm really looking forward to really diving into, member engagement and the things that we can do to change the way in which our clients are engaging with our membership and our services. I think that there's some really big changes that we can make, and some learnings along the way for us to, really shake things up in 2025 and, serve our clients at the highest level.
I think what I'm most excited for in 2025 is opening the eyes of our marketing joint clients to what else we can have on offer, and including extra services like Google Ads and website performance, and things that we were kind of doing on a smaller scale before, but really looking to amplify that in the new year.
I think this year, what I'm most excited for is just kind of amping up the quality of content we put out across social media, and for what we put out with the podcast. Because I personally am looking to kind of upgrade my skills and bring a kind of greater quality kind of skill set to my editing capabilities. And I think this year will be really great content-wise for the Joinery Coach and the Joinery Business Podcast.
So again, welcome to the podcast for 2025. This is our kickoff call, and really looking forward to helping you out again this year. We welcome any feedback. So if you have anything that you'd like to tell us or ask us to do, please feel free to send us a message, whether that's a comment or that's an email. However you want to get to us, you can. You can jump on the Joinery Coach. The podcast itself has a website, thejoinerybusinesspodcast.com. You can jump on there and send us a message. So without any further ado, I'm going to jump off this call. Thank you for joining me for 2025. Looking forward to giving you some enormous value, and really looking forward to helping you out in 2025 to grow your business. All right, Bruce from the Joinery Coach and the Joinery Business Podcast. Peace out.